Do you ever feel like you're watching the world, not from above like a strategist, but from underneath it, carrying its weight in silence? Not quite an observer like the Sigma, and not a closed-eyed monk like the Omega. You exist somewhere in between. Welcome to a forgotten archetype, the monster monk, a shadow form of the Omega, quiet, calm, unshakable, but not exactly soft. This is the Theta male. He doesn't chase power, but somehow ends up being the one everything rests on. The stronger base of the pyramid, the silent structure that holds everything up. He isn't the rebel like the Zeta, nor the ruler like the Alpha. He doesn't disappear like the Sigma. He endures. In this hierarchy there is no single winner, no absolute higher ground. These archetypes are traits, not titles. Good or bad, that depends on the hands they're in. Like weapons, they gain purpose from the one who wields them. Theta wields stillness, not to escape the world, but to carry it. Let me prepare the base for you. They are introverted, introspective but rigid, aggressively follow and protect rules. 'Cause they understood rebellion don't bring peace. They are the monster who became monk. The silent current and the forged blade. Imagine a river carving a canyon over millennia, patient, persistent, reshaping the earth not through force, but through unwavering presence. Is this not the essence of the Theta? Forget the Alpha's conquest or the Sigma's detached observation. The Theta moves differently. He isn't the storm, he is the deep, slow current beneath it. Often mistaken for the resigned Omega, the stagnant pool accepting its fate, the Theta is something far more potent. He is the Omega transformed by purpose, the stillness charged with silent intention. Where the Omega stops, the Theta persists. His patience isn't passive waiting, it's the disciplined cultivation of inner sight and spiritual attunement. He feels the world's emotional currents, the unseen metaphysical threads, not as distractions, but as the very fabric he must weave harmony into. He is the mediator because he understands the roots of conflict, the healer because he senses the wounds beneath the surface. His motivation. Not dominance, not escape, but a profound alignment, inner peace radiating outward, seeking connection, understanding, the quiet resonance of things made whole. Think of the wise hermit not hiding from the world, but preparing within the stillness to guide it. His power lies in depth, not speed. Now cast your gaze upon the Zeta. If the Theta is the deep, shaping current, the Zeta is the lightning strike. Instantaneous, instinctive, carving reality in a single, decisive flash. He doesn't cultivate patience, he bypasses the need for it. The Theta senses the metaphysical energy, the Zeta is raw, undirected energy given fierce, immediate form. The Theta seeks harmony through understanding and mediation. The Zeta imposes his will through pure, uncompromising action. There is no internal debate, no weighing of emotional currents. The compulsion is the action. Building, breaking, evolving. It erupts from within him like volcanic force, indifferent to the landscape it alters. Where the Theta moves with the deliberate grace of water seeking its level, the Zeta moves with the terrifying certainty of a blade finding its mark. The Theta reshapes the world by flowing with its deepest truths. The Zeta reshapes it by striking with the force of his own undeniable nature. One is the canyon's slow, majestic reveal. The other is the earthquake that creates a new mountain in an instant. Both shape the world, but their rhythms, their very souls, stand in stark, fundamental opposition. The river does not envy the lightning does not ponder the river. They simply are. The Zeta and the Theta. What use is seeing the storm if you lack the will to steer? The Theta perceives. He feels the tremors, senses the discord, reads the cosmic signs, like a sailor charts familiar stars. But here lies the fracture. His awareness is shackled by faith in forces beyond his grasp. He sees the problem, feels its weight, absorbs its pain, and then waits. Waits for the universe to align, for the zodiac to shift favorably, for some external permission to act. He becomes a buoy anchored to the seafloor of fate, bobbing faithfully with every current, every wave of circumstance. He endures society's repetitive burdens, the invisible engine oil, the unchanging foundation, believing this passive bearing is his purpose. He tries to fix things by sending out hopeful energy, trusting the universe will translate his good intention into change. His spirituality isn't a tool for mastery, it's a comforting illusion, a reason not to grasp the rudder. He accepts pain, hardship, stagnation, not with the Stoic's grim resolve to endure what he must while acting on what he can, but with a quiet, almost pathetic resignation. This is what the stars have written. His amor fati is less love, more surrender disguised as enlightenment. He confuses acceptance of everything with wisdom. He sees the right moment as a divine gift to be received, never a target to be seized. Now witness the Zeta cutting through the same turbulent sea. He doesn't read the stars, he ignores them. The concept of waiting for external alignment is absurdity. Zetas don't navigate by cosmic charts, their instinct is the compass. Where the Theta is an anchored buoy, feeling every shift but going nowhere, the Zeta is a torpedo, unadorned, single-minded, propelled by an internal guidance system locked onto its objective. Problems aren't signals to interpret, they are obstacles to be obliterated or bypassed with ruthless efficiency. He doesn't absorb society's pain. He either shatters the structures causing it or moves entirely beyond their reach. There is no hopeful wave sent into the void. Repetitive labor is meaningless grind unless it serves his immediate internal drive. If it doesn't, he shatters the cycle without a backward glance. The right moment is irrelevant noise. The compulsion demands action now. Fate isn't written in stars. It's forged in the white-hot crucible of his will. The Theta drifts, anchored by his faith in external signs, hoping the current will eventually favor him. The Zeta defines the current by moving through it with such velocity he parts the sea itself. One is a spectator to his own life, mistaking endurance for purpose. The other is the unstoppable event, carving his purpose into the bedrock of reality with every instinctive strike. The buoy feels the storm. The torpedo ends it. The spiritual procrastinator. Have you ever waited, not out of fear, but because you knew the moment hadn't arrived yet? You're not slow because you lack direction. You're slow because you respect the rhythm of the world. You don't chase the clock. You watch the sky, the mood, the shift in energy. Where others force action, you wait. Patiently, quietly, sometimes for years, but not passively. You're listening. Always listening. Theta men are not leaders. They're stabilizers, the pulse beneath the noise. While alphas shout and sigmas disappear, while omegas collapse and zetas break the board, you become the floor itself. You hold the weight of everyone else's chaos without asking for credit. That's not weakness. That's structure. No pyramid stands without its base. No system survives without the ones who keep showing up, doing the same thing again and again without applause. You believe in fate not as poetry but as architecture. You let life steer you even when the road vanishes. You believe in signs, in alignments, in the quiet hands of the universe folding things into place. And when others call that foolish, you smile. Because the real joke is thinking we ever had control. Nietzsche called it amor fati, the love of one's fate. But in your case it's something deeper, darker. This is amor fati taken to its pathetic extreme. Marcus Aurelius spoke of accepting fate, but he meant accepting what cannot be changed while acting on what can. The Theta has weaponized acceptance into inaction. You don't just accept the script, you refuse to hold the pen. Even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, you let it burn through you. Not for martyrdom, but for meaning. You don't fix things by force. You fix them by energy. And when it finally shifts, you move, slowly, silently. But everything changes with you. You let the storm pass through you. Do you ever feel pain that isn't yours, but carry it anyway? Most people run from suffering. Theta men absorb it, not because they enjoy it, but because someone has to. You're the quiet buffer between people and their breakdowns. You take in their anger, their grief, their exhaustion, and make it livable. You don't fix it with words. You just exist beside it long enough for it to cool. You don't flinch when life gets heavy. You've built your life inside that weight. While the world glorifies peak performance and constant motion, you're down there in the trenches, doing the same task again and again, no complaint. You become the rhythm. And people call you unremarkable for it, not realizing you're the reason the machine doesn't fall apart. There's no drama in your presence. No performance, no craving to be seen. You're the backdrop everyone needs but never thanks. You hold the emotional weight of others without bleeding it back on them. That's a rare violence too, non-reactivity in a reactive world. Stoicism teaches that pain is not something to be avoided but something to be trained through. You live this, but you take it further. You carry pain until it turns into stillness, even if that stillness costs you something. You don't complain. You don't warn. You simply bear it. And no one notices. That's part of the design. You're not here to be seen. You're here to hold the invisible structure while the rest scream at the cracks. You don't fight the storm. You let it pass through you. And when it leaves, you're still standing, exactly where you were before. You feel it before they name it. Do you ever sense something's wrong, even when nothing's been said yet? You walk into a space and it's like the air talks. You know when someone's lying even if their words are clean. You pick up on tension, dissonance, the shift in someone's shoulders, before their lips catch up to it. Others think it's intuition. But for you, it's pattern recognition on a spiritual frequency. You don't try to understand people, you just do. While others are busy reading body language guides, you're feeling the bleed through. Theta men are emotionally literate, not just with others but with themselves. That's what separates you. You notice the emotions you carry but they don't own you. You hear your chaos but you don't answer to it. You wield it like a lens, zooming in on what people are really saying when they talk about the weather, money, or their dreams. You hear their pain in between their pride. Some will confuse your stillness for hesitation. But hesitation is when you're afraid to act. You're not afraid, you're absorbing, like a forest right before the storm. The winds haven't hit yet, but the trees are already preparing. That's what makes your presence unsettling. Modern psychology found this once. The 2014 study by Aaron and Aaron discovered that highly sensitive individuals process stimuli more deeply than the general population. Not because their senses are sharper, but because their brains don't filter out emotional data like most do. You don't just walk through life, you taste every moment of it. Empathy for you isn't a reaction, it's a constant state. And it's dangerous to those who lie to themselves. The Scribe and the Wildfire. What value is there in documenting wounds if you never stitch them shut? The Theta becomes society's silent scribe. He feels the fractures, in relationships, systems, souls, with aching clarity. He records the pain in the ledger of his spirit, bearing its weight like sacred text. He endures the repetitive grind, the factory line, the data entry, the unending maintenance. He mistakes endurance for enlightenment. His spirituality becomes a lens to interpret suffering, not a tool to end it. He reads zodiac transits not as curiosities, but as divine instruction manuals for passivity. Venus retrograde? Best not act. Mars in shadow? Must wait. His amor fati is a cage of resignation disguised as piety. He accepts exploitation, stagnation, and disrespect, whispering, "It is the universe testing me," or "My chart shows hardship here." He tries to fix by sending hopeful energy, a whispered prayer, a positive visualization, trusting unseen forces will intervene. He finds solace in the ritual itself, the predictable rhythm of bearing weight. He is the foundation stone, essential, uncomplaining, and ultimately trapped. His strike waits for a celestial green light that never truly comes, leaving him perpetually poised, never plunging. Now witness the Zeta. He doesn't document suffering, he incinerates its source. The intricate ledger the Theta maintains, the catalog of wounds, injustices, astrological blocks, is meaningless parchment to him. Zetas don't interpret reality, they rewrite it with action. Repetitive labor isn't a spiritual test, it's fuel for contempt, shattered the moment it conflicts with his internal drive. He doesn't consult the stars for permission. He moves under any sky, indifferent to celestial whims. The concept of waiting for a right moment defined externally is absurd. The compulsion is the moment. If a structure causes pain, he doesn't bear it or pray over it. He dismantles it. If a path is blocked, he doesn't chart its energy flow. He burns a new one through sheer, unthinking force. The Theta sends hopeful waves. The Zeta is the tsunami. Theta spirituality seeks meaning in the struggle. Zeta instinct seeks only to end the struggle that impedes his forward search. He doesn't find happiness in acceptance. He forges satisfaction in the act of overcoming. The Scribe meticulously notes the chains, finding a strange comfort in their detailed description. The wildfire melts them without reading the inscription. One finds purpose in enduring the world's design. The other finds purpose only in imposing his own. The Scribe preserves the record of pain. The wildfire leaves only ashes, and a new, scorched space for what comes next. Their relationship to fate is the chasm. Theta kneels to its script. Zeta tears the page and writes his own in the language of scars. It's all written. Have you ever felt like you're not living life, just fulfilling a script you were handed long before you were born? You're seldom wrong. Not because you're perfect, but because you don't gamble. You don't chase chaos. You follow the pre-written path. Not superstition. Not blind faith, a quiet knowing. You trust signs, instincts, the tilt of fate, the pause in the wind. And somehow, you strike exactly when the moment's ready, never before, never late. You're not the rarest, you're not the loudest. But make no mistake, Thetas are the monster monk. Calm on the surface, yes, but beneath that, cold precision, quiet decisions. You hoard rules like a dragon hoards gold. Not to feel superior, but to stay prepared. Everything in your life is layered with intent. You wait. You endure. And when it's time, you move. You don't chase chaos. You avoid mistakes. You act on life as if it's already written. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Where others crash from chasing freedom, you build something unshakable. Picture perfect life? Maybe. But not by accident. Some will argue this isn't freedom. That it's robotic, passive, even pathetic. And they're not entirely wrong, but they're not right either. Because what you live isn't failure, it's fulfillment. You don't need to be seen as great. You just need to not fall apart. And most don't understand how powerful that is. You live average on the outside, but your discipline, your stillness, your spiritual radar, that's not average. That's armor. You feel content in the life most people mock. And yet, they come to you when it all burns. You become the teacher, the quiet guide, the base of the pyramid. You never wanted attention, but somehow you earned respect. And maybe this isn't the best way to live. Maybe it's not the worst either. And you wear it like it was stitched into your soul. You don't fight fate. You walk with it. And that's why you almost never fall. Thanks for watching.